Get ready. Helena Hustle is now live. Here, we will showcase successful leaders in business, athletics, healthcare, and all things that make Helena a great place to live. Join Dr. Daniel Bridge, owner of Endurance Chiropractic, as he searches out amazing individuals who are making a tremendous difference in this place we call home. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired with the Helena Hustle Podcast.
Welcome to Helena Hustle Podcast. I am here with my guest, Jenny Gehl of Reiki Plus. She's a master Reiki clinician. Am I saying that right?
That's good. That'll work.
Good. Yes. And Jenny, thank you for coming on. I just want to say I'm really happy to have you because you always put me at ease. And so I know this is going to be a great conversation. Would you please introduce yourself for my listeners who don't know you?
Okay, I will. I'm Jenny Gehl. I'm a Reiki master, which for those of you who do not know what that is an energy worker. We're all energy, and this is just a way to keep your body energized, and that's probably the easiest thing I can say right now.
You have never seen Karate Kid, correct?
I did, but it's been about 400 years ago.
Okay, I think we talked about this, but Reiki comes from Japan, correct?
Yes.
So there is a scene where he gets his ankle or his knee injured, and Mr. Miyagi, his I don't know if you call it his sensei, but his teacher, slaps his hands together, rubs them together, and then he puts them over the knee, and he's able to finish the fight. That's Reiki, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So I had never heard of Reiki, but once you started explaining it to me, I'm like, that's what Mr. Miyagi was doing. So
that's really actually that's a great way to introduce it to the audience, because anybody can do Reiki. You can rub your hands together, and that's the most important thing. Is you're bringing the energy. You'll feel it. You can, if you're concentrating on it, you'll feel it. You'll know what the energy is because you'll have the heat, and it is amazing. It does work. It all helps mind, body, helps for you to remember. Everything starts in your head and in your brain, and you work that together with the Reiki, and it's a wonderful healing modality.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more into Reiki. Tell us a little bit more about yourself personally.
You know, Dan, I've known you for a long time. It's very hard for me to get serious. Well, I'm 180 years old, and so...
I thought you were only 175.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been around a long time. I've done a lot of different things, but let's bring it a little bit more to the forefront of currently. I had a very fun career. I've done a lot of different things. In the 90s, because I've done a lot of fun things, I hurt myself. And so I had learned about Reiki, and I thought, well, this would be a great healing for me. And I actually got into it because my husband had a bad back, and I had a bad back, and this seemed pretty cool because everybody I knew really had an injury of some kind. And this is such a great way to heal. So that's how I got interested in Reiki. And I got into that in the 90s. I mean, I don't know how to tell you about everything I've done. I don't want to bore everybody to death.
You've had a clothes store?
I was in retail, yes. We moved to Montana in 88.
Okay.
You know, that's last year. Last century, whatever. Anyway, and I opened a store because I couldn't get a job.
Okay.
And so I really didn't know what I was doing, but I had an awful lot of fun. So then I opened a second store and had even more fun. And then the way we got to Helena is I was approached by the Great Northern Town Center to open a retail store. And so I did. And so for about 25 years, I've been in retail.
Wow, fantastic.
And that's actually my latest career that I did. That was an awful lot of fun.
So how long have you been working, owning your own business total?
Just in Reiki or
everything, all the business that you've done?
Oh, well, we owned a lodge for a while, and we've owned a subdivision for a while.
Oh, wow.
So we had done, my husband was in the hotel business for years and years, and had hotels all over the United States and Hawaii. I mean, he worked for Sheridan and he worked for different companies. But one day he woke up and he couldn't figure out where he was because he's been traveling for so long. So that's when we got out. He got out of the hotel business, and we got into something which is more fun, which was retail for me.
Yeah.
And so
easy to say. I mean, you've learned a lot about business and what works and how to keep it moving. So that's great. Now, I hope you prepared, but did you think of 2 truths and a lie?
No. You told me you were going to ask me this. I thought you were going to ask me, am I supposed to make it up?
You're supposed to make up a lie and then tell me 2 truths, and then I'm supposed to guess which one was the lie.
Jeez. Dan. See, he does this stuff to me.
I love to do this stuff to you.
I know you do.
But here's the thing. You're so smart. I know that you're gonna blow this one out of the water.
You're so full of a lot of stuff, too.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. Give me a second here.
You got it.
You might want to entertain the audience with something while I think.
Where's my Rubik's Cube?
Okay. I was married for 50 years. I swam the English Channel, and I worked as a district manager for Avon for years.
I am going to say it's a lie, but I'm hoping it's true about the English Channel. Jenny, did you swim the English Channel?
No, I did not.
You did not.
I'm doing good if I can just, take a bath and not drown.
50 years of marriage. Congratulations. That's amazing.
If you'd known Henry Gehl, you would have given me an award.
Yeah. And Henry passed away when?
Actually, it's 4 years this month.
4 years this month. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. Sorry to hear that. I mean, but 50 years, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Fun time.
And how long were you, say again, your Avon title?
Well, Avon, years ago, they had districts, and they had so many district managers, and then we were overseeing the young ladies who used to go and say, Avon calling, and so I was there. We were in San Antonio at the time, and I was there for 2 or 3 years. I don't really remember for sure, because, yeah.
Did you ever win a pink car, pink tinted?
Well.
Oh, that's Mary Kay.
That's Mary Kay.
Yeah.
I actually am a Mary Kay representative.
Oh, that too. Okay.
But that's now.
Right. Oh, okay.
But no, I didn't.
Hey, it's never too late.
I was lazy by then.
Okay. So now, going back to what got you into Reiki, you mentioned your back, Henry's back, and what got started? How did you get introduced to it in the first place? Well,
I had heard about it, and so I had taken a class in the first. I had taken Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, and I thought that's all I was going to do because I learned the basics, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a great healing modality, but a friend of mine called.
Pause. At that point, did you know you wanted to do it professionally?
No.
Okay.
But a friend of mine called me and said that she had had a dream, and she was going to teach 6 of us who happened to be, most of us knew each other. She was going to teach us all Reiki. And I already told her, I said, I've already had Reiki 1 and 2. I'm not interested in doing anything more. But I didn't argue with my friend because she always won anyway. So anyway, so I went on to do my master. I had get my Reiki master. And then all of us had so much fun working together that we started our own little clinic in Lewistown.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't have much time because I was running the store. Actually, I was running 2 stores.
Oh, gosh.
And so but I did have a day or 2 that I started doing Reiki. And in Lewistown, not too many people knew what Reiki was.
Sure.
But some of us did Reiki, and some of us did massage, some did yoga. So there was a little variety there.
What year was this?
Oh, I don't know.
80s, 90s?
It was in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty modern stuff for that time.
Yeah, exactly. And it was challenging just to have people understand it.
Right.
Well, it still is today.
Sure.
because, most generally in your regular medicine, people are more adapted to, gee, just give me a pill. And this is what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
The body works better without the pills.
The body's amazing at healing itself.
Yes, it is.
And just needs some help sometimes. And I feel you do a great job of describing Reiki, but also for me, I understood it a lot better after I went and I came in for a Reiki session.
Yes.
So I think experiencing it really answers a lot of those questions.
It does. And mainly, many people are familiar with massage. And you lay on a massage table, but you keep your clothes on, and you just take your shoes off. And all I'm doing is connecting the energy in your body. And we're all energy, but nobody thinks about your energy getting out of balance. They'll understand it if their shoulder's out, because they'll come see Father Dan over here and he'll take care of them. But they don't understand that getting the energy and keeping the energy flowing gently through the body like it's supposed to is healing all the time. And then I've added, do you want me to go ahead and tell you a little bit more?
Let's get to that, but a little bit more about Reiki. So, so you started doing this in Lewistown. Let's go from there.
Okay.
How long did you do that there?
Well, honestly, I don't remember. It was a couple of years because they approached me from the Great Northern. Must have been in 2000.
Okay.
Because I sold the store there and started proceedings on opening a store here, and opened it in March of 2001.
Oh, fantastic.
So yes, I guess that way. But I'm just not real sure when I first got involved in it.
Okay. That you had moved there in March of 2021?
We opened the store in March
of 2001. Okay. Okay, so you opened the store, and were you doing Reiki at that point?
No, I really didn't have time. And we were building a home out in East Helena, and it was clear out almost to Winston. And, it's pretty hard to get people to drive all the way out there, especially if you're hurting. So I almost had to put it on the back burner for a while. And then later, I tried to do it in the back of the store, but I didn't like the fact that it had no atmosphere.
Sure.
I tried to make a place, and I did, I picked up a few customers and that sort of thing, but it just wasn't what I wanted.
Gotcha. And then at what point did that transition into full-time or?
Oh, well, I closed the store at the end of 2011, and I worked next door for a number of years with Boxwoods.
Okay.
Because Julie Ledke owned it at that time, and she and I were good friends, and then I would help out Cobblestone, which we were all three side by side. And
cool.
So I stayed in retail then, and then I worked quite a few years at the Holter Museum.
Okay.
And about this time, my husband was not doing well health-wise. And so we sold a home we sold the house in East Helena and moved to town. And then I started doing Reiki closer to home. Okay. So that I could be with him. So I just stayed in this location.
Okay. Great. Yeah, you're the first Reiki practitioner, like I said, that I had met, and I didn't really know what to expect when I came for my first session, but you said you have a massage table, and then on top of the massage table you have a crystal mat that's heated.
Yes.
You can change the temperature, and that instantly was like, okay, this thing is awesome. I was just so warm and comfortable laying on that. And then with the Reiki, you'd put your hand on my foot and on my knee and hold that for a while. And I just remember being very relaxed. And same thing, I don't know if I fell asleep and drooled on you, but being relaxed afterwards and just feeling really great that day. And for a while, kind of like I got a good night's sleep, just feeling refreshed. Up. Yeah, that's how I felt. If someone was wondering if Reiki would be a good option for them, I mean, obviously the answer is everybody, but what sorts of things what sorts of conditions or people would you say you really need some Reiki?
Well, actually, you could pinpoint it right down to one thing.
Mm-hmm.
How many people out there have stress in their life? And so if you just did that alone,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what we do to ourselves. We fret and carry on. We have mortgages. We have kids. We have problems.
Mm-hmm.
We have, where many of us are married, and that, there are so many issues that happen day to day that we don't really think about. This vehicle that we live in,
Mm-hmm.
we take better care of our cars than we do
We do.
of our bodies.
Yeah.
And a great way to keep your body in great shape is to get Reiki. And if you get Reiki on a fairly regular basis, or people can just be recharged. And it does. A lot of people, most everybody sleeps because it's so relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And that should tell you something right there,
Right.
that the energy is flowing like it should. And it's anybody that's ever injured themselves, and they still have a problem from that. You'll usually go see Dan first, but you can come see me at the same time. But
together at the same time would be amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, people that do that stay in good health.
Mm-hmm.
You keep them balanced, and I do too.
Right.
It's when you ask me about the customers, it's anyone, and I've had I give a special discount for veterans.
Oh, great.
And these guys, men and women, I've seen, and they've gotten so beat up, and they carry so much, and they have so many memories. This is a gift for them if
Wow.
they only understood it.
Yeah. How long is a Reiki session?
It's about an hour.
Mm-hmm. And so going back a little bit, your friend called you, she got you trained, and at that point, that's when you became a Reiki master. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years later, you decided to do some additional training.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, like you said, it's always been from the Orient.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a gentleman in America, and he was introduced to Holy Fire Reiki. And it's very unusual that anybody would receive this information in America, because it's always been in the Orient.
To kind of keep it close.
Well, it's just pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And so I took some courses in that, just to bring me up to date too. All it did really was intensify what I already have, but it was nice to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
And can I go ahead and tell you about Zone now?
Yeah,
You want me to?
absolutely.
And then just 2 years ago, I stumbled past something that was on my computer, and it was a chiropractor, and he was talking about this healing he had done on someone with Raynaud's disease. Raynaud's disease is incurable. And so, I sat right down and listened to him. And I was fascinated with him. But I had missed the first part of the podcast because I was up moving around. I really hadn't planned on much. And he mentioned the gentleman's name that was a chiropractor that was teaching it. But I couldn't find any information on him. And so about a month later, I had the same program on. And here was Dr. Coleman.
Okay.
So I took what they call zone technique. It's designed for chiropractors. And if you remember, I came down and talked to you because I didn't want to step on your toes.
Yeah, I remember you bringing that up. And, there's chiropractors who focus on different things. And
that's what you told me.
yeah, I didn't know anything about zone technique, just what I've learned from you. In my office, we work on a lot of things, but one of the things we focus on is, disc issues. So sciatica, symptoms down the arm, different things like that. And yeah, it was so completely different from anything that I was doing. I just said, hey, go for it. And just to add a little context, Jenny and I were in a business group together where we would support each other's businesses. But one of the rules of the group is there's no crossover. You don't have two chiropractors. And so she talked to me about that, and I just gave her the thumbs up, said, hey, that sounds really cool. Go for it.
I am blown away by zone technique. I'm so glad he told me I could do it, because it is, to me, it's the future. In a nutshell, it is everything in our head. Everything begins in our brain. And you just stop and think back. If you had some trauma happen to you when you were 10, you think, I'm a big person now, I've dealt with this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But you don't realize you've harbored that somewhere in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't dealt with it, then that can metastasize to something else
Mm-hmm.
later on in your life.
Sure.
And zone technique hits on 6 items, and all I do is touch these 6 places on your head, and they correlate with 4 places on your spine. And so if you think maybe that it's an injury that you've had, a physical injury, and you're thinking in your head it might be muscular, well, it might not. It might be glandular.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits on glandular, elimination, nervous, digestive, muscular, and circulatory.
Okay.
And those are the 6 places on your head. It is a way for you to unconsciously start releasing this that's in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your body is telling me, where I need to work.
Okay.
And so if that person had that injury and they think I'm going to be working on muscular, it might start out as glandular or circulatory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a fascinating,
Wow.
wonderful thing. And this gentleman that taught it was amazing.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know you can't tell, but I'm excited.
So between either Reiki or zone technique, do you have any experience that your clients have had where they were able to overcome a challenge, health related or even mentally, that they were struggling with?
Yes, I have. I've had several that have been, usually, especially with headaches, they can get off the table without a headache. But especially I had a veteran, a sweet, wonderful female veteran that came to see me. And she was so ill, she couldn't get out of bed without throwing up. And
oh, boy.
every morning she was faced with this, trying to function, extremely dizzy. And so her husband had to drive her the first day, but once we worked on her, she got off the table and she felt like, I can do this. I can drive now. I think I can drive. And I won't go into the rest of it, but I did help her.
Wow.
And there's been others, that I can't always think of right now, but I think it's because I've been dizzy in my life, and that I don't want to ever be, I don't ever want to be again.
Yeah.
It's not fun, and especially with trying to function when your equilibrium is totally blown out.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine with that vet that you just mentioned, how tough that quality of life is when you're always nauseous, you can't drive, and to be able to change that and get feeling like you have your life back. That's amazing.
Yeah, because her life was not very wonderful. That's for sure.
Yeah. Great, Jenny. So I learn a lot every time that you and I talk. If somebody wanted to contact you about Reiki, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, I have an email, and that usually I work from referrals, because that was one reason why I was in biz to biz. I would be happy to talk to anybody if they wanted to use my email. Would you like me to give it to them?
Would you like to?
Sure.
Great.
Why don't I do that, Jack?
Let's do it.
Is that okay with you, Dan?
Let's do it.
JL, and my last name is GEHL at hotmail.com.
JLGEHL@hotmail.com. Okay.
Germans couldn't figure out how to spell Gehl any better than to spell GEHL.
Yeah. Is
that would probably be the best way. You could give me a call, 406-461-2507.
Fantastic. Anybody who's thinking about it or on the fence, I highly recommend you meet Jenny and you get a Reiki session, because you really do have to experience it and just see how relaxing it is and getting that reset. So great, Jenny. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on today's podcast.
You're a peach.
Thank you. That's what I'm going for.
Dr. Daniel, you're great.
Great.
Thank you for asking me.
Yep.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Helena Hustle podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Helena Hustle podcast.